accessory to murder. Murder one, ladies and gentlemen, knowingly shipping guns into Mexico. And I told you this 6 months ago. I told you this a month ago. We told you this years ago, the basics of what was happening with it, fast and furious. And now it has come out that in just one event alone, the ATF was ordered to ship 2,000 guns directly to Sinaloa, the dominant drug cartel on the U.S.-Mexico border, the one teamed up with the CIA, the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, the Coast Guard, 8 agencies. This is in major newspapers. This is in the Miami Herald. This is in the Chicago Tribune, but buried in them. And they shipped them, in one case, 2,000 guns. There were the cases where they had the gun shops, and they would come into gun shop owners and say, we want you to help your government. We are going to have, well, there's going to be criminals coming in and buying guns. We want to trace those. Let us set up cameras, and then we'll trace it back to the drug cartels and stop the flow of guns. And so the gun shops went along with it all over the country, not just Arizona. That's where the ATF blew the whistle. And some of the agents did. They're still trying to cover that up. Now, all of that is unfolding. But that was only a way to later show it on the news and not tell you it was actually ATF agents coming in and getting the guns. It was a way to blame the Second Amendment and just act like it was a sting, when the sting was really the cover for a Iran-Contra type situation where the drugs are shipped in and the guns are shipped out of the U.S. to Mexico so that those cartels that are laundering their money through the big Federal Reserve banks, so that they can defeat their competition that isn't laundering their money. So the Mexicans ship in the cocaine, the criminal U.S. government ships them the guns, and then shuts down the cowboys that are cutting in on all of their business. So basically, I thought that I would cover that. And I keep beating that drum about the drug dealing element of this and the direct shipment of guns directly to the cartels that came out on Mexican TV, I don't know, 6 months ago. It was on national Mexican news down in Mexico. But just now is it starting to leak out in our media. Now, you're asking, why haven't the Republicans just dropped the hammer? The Republicans haven't dropped the hammer because Fast and Furious is only 3 years old since Obama got into office and got going. But Sinaloa documents and other documents that are in the Chicago Tribune and Infowars.com, again, Paul Watson reported on this 6 months ago when the documents first came out. A few months later, other media picked it up. The cartels have brought forward in court that they were authorized by the U.S. government to do this, and that's been confirmed. And it goes back with Sinaloa at least 5.5 years. So that's the Bush administration. That's why the Republicans are just going to move to get Holder to step down and score political points against him. But that's why Holder probably will end up stepping down, but for now is hanging on because he's calling their bluff. He knows full well this is an officially sanctioned Federal Reserve operation. The Federal Reserve runs the U.S. government, runs the Pentagon, runs the monetary system, runs it all. It's the private dictatorship. They're officially now setting that up in Europe over the euro and admitting it's a financial dictatorship. So this is an official operation, just like Iran-Contra. They may burn a little Ollie North or somebody. They may burn a G. Gordon Liddy like with Watergate, but they're going to move on from that unless we absolutely ram this story out to everybody. That's what's going to happen. Now, we're going to go to break here in a moment. I'm going to come back and give the next little 5-minute segment to Aaron because I know he's got a big stack of news and points he wants to point out. And then I'm going to come back at 33 after and reset and get into the incredible developments concerning the Federal Reserve. These are some of the most positive things I could ever see happen and really signifies how this establishment has overreached and is in a desperate situation. They've had Al Gore, George Soros, Barack Obama, Ben Bernanke, the head of the Fed, the Treasury Secretary, the head of the Dallas Fed, all come out in the last 3 days and say they're in solidarity with Occupy Wall Street. That's because they're trying to co-opt it, but I can tell you they failed. They want to make it about free market Wall Street being bad instead of about the Federal Reserve and the inner coterie, the big 6 mega banks that launder the drug money, that run the child kidnapping, that run it all. And we can tie him to that as well. Aaron Dykes coming up with some of the news, and I'll be back with Aaron after that break.
Iodine protection packs from hempusa.org are now in stock for immediate delivery worldwide. Our iodine protection packs include microplant powder, green life kelp, red palm oil, and our clear roll-on iodine that will feed the body the iodine it needs. All iodine protection packs are in stock. Save you money and ship for free in all 50 states. Visit hempusa.org or call 908-691-2608 today.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it led back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Hi, Ted Anderson. I'm placing a silver dollar in a book explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Introducing a diabetes breakthrough, an easy, natural, organic way to bring relief to diabetics. Introducing MDS Forte, a concentrated super strength extract formulated for those who are looking for quick action. Listen to what the revolutionary MDS Forte can do for you. MDS Forte reduces glucose levels safely and effectively, reduces cholesterol and triglyceride levels, increases HDL or good cholesterol while reducing LDL or bad cholesterol. MDS Forte reduces A1C, improves eyesight and circulation to the limbs, and helps weight loss. Is non-toxic, caffeine-free, 100% natural, 100% organic, and comes with a 100% money-back guarantee. Waiting for the side effects disclaimers? With MDS Forte, there are none. Order a 25-day treatment of MDS Forte at bestbloodsupport.com or call 213-405-5355. Call 213-405-5355 or go to bestbloodsupport.com. That's bestbloodsupport.com for MDS Forte, a diabetes breakthrough.
Alex Jones here with vital information concerning our nation's fragile food supply. Folks, there are some truly dangerous trends forming, and I think it's important for my listeners to do three things right away. Number one, study the past. History really does repeat itself. Number two, learn to spot the dangerous food shortage trends. Number three, take decisive action. A perfect storm is brewing, or a global food crisis. That's why I'm telling everyone to read the new book, Rising Prices, Empty Shelves. Warning signs that trigger the deadliest famines in history. Don't get caught unprepared when the crisis hits. This book is only available at risingpricesemptyshelves.com. You'll also get a free copy of Supermarket Survival, How to Cut Your Grocery Bills in Half. Again, that website is risingpricesemptyshelves.com. That's risingpricesemptyshelves.com.
Guys, notice things are different now that you're a little older? Girls, notice your guy's not quite the man he used to be? Lower energy, more fat, lower sex drive? It all could be the signs of testosterone levels dropping. It doesn't matter who you are, guys. This will happen to you. But now, for the first time, we can boost testosterone naturally by 61% with Ageless Male, a safe, natural supplement that helps you maintain normal, healthy testosterone levels. Ageless Male is proven in clinical research to safely boost testosterone by 61%. Healthy testosterone means more vitality, a great outlook, and a healthy sex drive. This is a game changer. Be an Ageless Male.
For your risk-free trial, just call 1-800-350-2122. Don't wait another day. Call 1-800-350-2122. That's 1-800-350-2122.
Took it all away. The lanes and the meadows, the places where you used to play. It was an inside job.
We are back at the Alex Jones Show. This is Aaron Dykes. Again, I'm sitting in with Alex. It's an honor to be on the program with him, especially on such an important day where we really need to send the signal out that at the root of these protests is the Federal Reserve. That is the issue we need to deal with. Of course, the loss of jobs and the attack on student loans and all the other economic issues going on are very important. But as many of you know out there listening, it is the Federal Reserve at the heart of all this. That's an economic warfare strategy that was put in place 98 years ago, as we've talked about many times on this show, to allow those moneyed interests, the robber barons who've all cartelled together, pooled their power and interest to carry out operations against the American people and throughout the world. That's what it's always been. Even in the third world countries where the various coups that happened under the CIA, it's always been really a monetary interest based, what used to be on Wall Street, but it's not just Wall Street, as we know. Now, I think it's very significant that the Federal Reserve president in Dallas, Richard Fisher, has come out in the news lately. He does appear in the news quite often, but I think it's no coincidence. He's got a number of statements today saying he's somewhat sympathetic to the Occupy Wall Street interest. That may shock you, but he thinks, job insecurity and high unemployment's the most important thing. It's the same mantra the Federal Reserve has always pumped out, that they've got to deal with unemployment, that they have to be the ones to dole out these things, even though we know it costs bukus of money to create just a few jobs under the Obama administration and the rest of it. What they're really worried about is that someone like Alex Jones is showing up at the Federal Reserve, really unmasking the true enemy. And they're going to hear the message, and I really hope it is the start of a new American revolution. But you've got people like Richard Fisher coming out and trying to give cover. And we've seen the Occupy Wall Street protests throughout the country really focusing in on the Federal Reserve. In San Francisco, the Occupy San Francisco group has been camped out at the Federal Reserve for more than a week. And I'm not sure if they're completely sophisticated, but the fact that they chose that location really says a lot. We've got people on all sides of the spectrum beginning to identify the real enemy. We've got Dennis Kucinich, people like Ralph Nader, really joining up and becoming allies with people like Ron Paul. They certainly don't agree on all issues, but they have identified that the Federal Reserve is completely predatory, has to be reined in one way or another. People like Kucinich, of course, want to nationalize the Federal Reserve. Ron Paul really wants to move to eliminate it and just draw out its power completely and return to sound money, have competing currencies, etc. Whatever happens, though, the Federal Reserve does have to go. It's a giant parasite. It's a giant tick. And I really hope people are going to show up in Dallas today. They were, of course, already in Dallas. Part of the Occupy movement has been there with numbers of more than 200 demonstrators. That has been in the news as well. So it's really no surprise to see Dallas Federal Reserve President Richard Fisher coming out and trying to placate to this crowd, trying to send a signal that he understands and feels our pain. Really, they're afraid of anyone taking away that Federal Reserve power because of who that power represents, because of who's behind that power. With that in mind, we also have Salman Mohammadi. I really don't know how to pronounce his name, but he always writes excellent articles at The Excavator. At the gates of the great beast, Occupy the treasonous Fed revolution begins in Dallas. And he's got an excellent quote here from David Graham Phillips, The Treason of the Senate. Treason is a strong word, but not too strong to characterize the situation in which the Senate is the eager, resourceful, and indefatigable agent of interest as hostile to the American people as any invading army could be. And, of course, there is massive anger at Washington and the other political interests, but it really represents the way they've continuously sold us out over a whole century to the moneyed interests who are represented in the Federal Reserve. And it's time to, as I've already said, unmask them and really expose who they are. Now, Alex is coming up on the other side of the break, but we do just want to hammer home that people are beginning to focus on the Federal Reserve all across the country. There's 12 branches or districts which are sort of important Federal Reserves in their own right, and then there are dozens of other branch locations everywhere. Just look it up in your area and go to that location and start to send the signal that we know the Federal Reserve is the important issue behind all this Occupy Wall Street anger and everything. And we're going to get more into that on the other side. Keep in mind that Al Gore is among those who called for an Arab Spring in America only about a month ago, August 3rd, just a little over a month ago. And so we're going to talk about where that Occupy Wall Street energy is going. More on the other side, Infowars.com. Stay with us. Today will be a great day.